Hey everybody, welcome to SBSK follow-up. This is Phil Jose for the Art of Reading Smoke. Yeah, we're a little bit early, so we'll give a little bit of time for people who have notifications or whatever to click on board. And if you're in the room, go ahead and hit me up with a chat. I can let me know where you're watching from, and we'll get a shout out to you. And this week we're on scene with the Tulsa, Oklahoma Fire Department, and had some good friends down there. Went down there and did some video and air management training with the Tulsa Fire Department. Spent almost a week at their training center. So for you folks in Tulsa, shout out to you, and we'll take a look at this. What we got going on. Let's talk about the new subscribers this week. Dale Stacy. Mr. Banda, Lauren Turnbaugh, Sean Hazelhurst, Fireman 0237, Jeremy Prinzen, and Camilla 221 Bravo. I wonder what the 221B is for. Maybe that's your apartment number or something. But welcome on board, everybody. Looks like we got some folks in from Niagara Falls in Canada. Is that on the upstream side? I think it is. I think it's on the upstream side. Went to Niagara Falls when I was a kid. Hope to make it back there someday. Beautiful place for sure. But all right, let me get myself out of the way here so we can watch Tulsa work. And let me drag it back to the beginning. Right here where we're going to start out. Now, one of the things I mentioned, and the first time I saw this video, I thought, oh, that must be a cold day. And the reason is because this column is moving quickly and it's so white to me. Even with, I can see some turbulence and stuff here. So I went and looked online, and sure enough, it was like a 34 or 35 degree day there in Tulsa. They might think it's balmy this time of year, but for smoke, that's cold. And so anytime we look at the volume, velocity, density, color, one of the things we want to just sort of be aware of, and obviously the weather where you are, right? So if you were in Tulsa on this day, you'd know it's a cold day. But when it's cold, what happens is that the smoke, right? Besides smoke being fuel, smoke also has nearly 100% humidity. You could talk about whether it's, you want to call it humidity or water vapor in air or, that sort of stuff, but essentially 100% humidity. And so on a cold day like this, very quickly when it comes out of the building, you see condensation. And you can even see this around pretty significant columns with a lot of heat and a lot of turbulence and density. And the outside edges will be white, and the inside, when you get a glimpse of it from the wind or whatever, will still be jet black, right? So just a little key up front, but pretty significant volume from this size of house. And as we watch it move, we're going to see what's going on. Right away, we can see some turbulence pumping out on this end. We lose a little view of it as we go by Tulsa engine 16. And then we're going to get a pretty good view. I really appreciate this video photography by Fire 10 Rescue. They did a nice job here as far as using it for a reading smoke video. Okay, we got a lot going on. Got smoke coming out all along the eaves. This window is already partially broken, and there it goes. It just popped all the way out. We got smoke pushing out. Look at the density and the turbulence coming out, and one of the things we want to think about with turbulence and how much energy is when it's coming out of a space like this, how much does it go straight down, right? Because it's going around the edge and it's coming out, so that velocity that it has before it turns and goes up, particularly on a cold day like this, is a pretty good indicator. There's some pretty significant force behind there, right? So for this size of house, this is a pretty significant amount of pretty significant volume. Okay, so lots of velocity here. Velocity is just starting to build here, and significant turbulence, thick dark gray smoke pumping out of the attic end over here. And they got the line. They're going to force the door. Now, we're going to get a little bit of a pause before we come back on a couple of these things, but we're going to get the fire attack underway. Okay, so one of the things that we can use reading smoke for is to see whether or not the fire attack is working out for us, right? What are the signs? What if we have the fire attack underway? What are we expecting to see? What do we actually see? Right. So since they're right in here, we're going to start to see one of the first and primary indicators is the change of color. Right. We go from black and gray on the scale. We get all the way down into the white. The other thing that can happen, often does happen, is with a good fire attack in a superheated environment is you increase the volume, right? Because you're producing copious amounts of steam as you start to cool the spaces. And the more you cool it, then of course, as we get down below 212 in there, we'll actually see gas contraction, right? So we'll get to the point where there's no smoke coming out here, no steam coming out, and in fact, those become intakes as they start hitting it, right? So that's the first place, because that's where they're gonna hit it first, right? Into 17's on scene. We'll go back and we'll see what impact over the course of just this 15, 20, 30 seconds they're having. Okay, we can see already significantly less here. Still a little bit coming out, but significantly less. Okay, the next place we're gonna still keep an eye here, right? So we still have turbulent, thick black smoke here. We still have good velocity coming out of the garage door. And let's take a second to just think about what we got going on and what that can tell us about what's going on inside the structure even before they made entry, right? So with this amount of velocity coming out of the garage, pretty safe bet, not for sure, but pretty safe bet that the man door between the garage and the house is currently open, right? We know that we've got pretty significant fire in the attic, and since there's so much of it coming from back here, I'd wonder, because the window broke up here just after the fire department arrived, my guess is the fire's for sure on the Charlie side, and maybe more towards this corner, even though it has significantly spread through the house, right? But that's just my read on it. But what we do know, or we can pretty certain that this door is open to this garage and probably, right, probably closed to this space right here. That's probably a bedroom. Looks like the window's clear, no sweating, right? It looks to me like it's probably a closed door or a mostly closed door into this bedroom. Okay, that's what we can tell just from the still photo and understanding our layouts and how fire behavior works. All right, so they've really knocked it down here. We just have white smoke drifting out, mostly steam. If we watch that for a while, probably clean, pristine, dissipating white. But we still have smoke here, but we're seeing right now this velocity at that garage door is going down pretty significantly. Let's get back to that real quick. Yeah, so look at it here, and then let's just keep our eye peeled over there and watch as that velocity, as they're making that fire attack, as that line is open, as it's working in there, cooling the surfaces, right? We see, look at that significant change over a relatively short period of time, down to the point where there's no smoke coming out periodically, right? See, look at that. All right, so are they making progress? Heck yeah. We see some other good stuff going on. They got their water supply, the second lines being laid, right? Those are all good, positive things, but we still have turbulent, thick black smoke coming out of the attic. And certainly there's plenty of heat in here, still plenty of work to get done, but there's definitely a fire going on still somewhere. Like I said, my first read was in the Charlie, probably the Charlie Delta corner. As truck 24 arrives, we're going to get back and we're going to take our eyes right to that gable end when we go back and see if there's been any change just in this 20, 30 seconds. We've looked here and boom, look at that. Mostly white, still some pretty good volume, but the color change is dramatic, right? Still a little bit of gray, but pretty dramatic, both the color change and the turbulence, right? So volume, velocity, density, color have all improved here. And so we can see the fire attack is just really, those guys are killing it in there. Way to go, Tulsa. Engine 16, I mean, really nice job. Really good feedback for the incident commander, somebody who's outside, about a fire attack that's going the way we want it to go, right? So we have these expectations, and in this case, those expectations are just boom, boom, boom getting met, right? Decrease from the first room, decreased volume, velocity, density, color from the garage, decreased volume, velocity, density, color from the attic, right? So we're just, Tulsa's just kicking along here as they start to put this fire out. Right now, is there plenty of work to be done? Sure, right? But look at the risk, right? The risk is basically gone from this structure, right? The temperature's down, the total volume of smoke is down, the color's changed. And so as far as being able to get in here and search these areas and make sure that there's no civilians stuck or trapped in there, super low risk environment now that we've got that water applied throughout the space. Right, so when we look at this video, there's a lot from the front end, and then we get these very nice indicators as we're going along of fire attack that's being effective. I didn't notice first time that the officer's coming back from the 360, right? So it's probably giving information to the crew right now as we're watching so they can get their fire attack underway. And with that, everybody have a great day out there. Thanks, Jason, for kicking in and giving me some chat. I love the chat during the live sessions. And a couple things, you can find me very soon if you're doing Reading Smoke. That part of the video is over. I'm just going to tell you where I'm going to be teaching in the near future. The Buildings on Fire Symposium, that's an online symposium. I'll put the link in the show notes so you can find that. The next thing is the Mizzou Fire Rescue Training, Murph, I always have a hard time saying it, Murphy. But the folks down in Mizzou, Tracy Gray and those group, it's a great conference. You can find them pretty easily. Just look for the Missouri University Winter Fire School, and a lot of great instructors there. If you can register for that or get some of your folks in there, there's a lot of good stuff there for you. And with that, I'm going to sign out. One last shout out. I got this filter coffee. I got that in Kennett Square when I was there teaching the art of reading smoke to the Kennett Square Fire Department there in Pennsylvania. Had a great time teaching there. It's been a little while, but just wanted to shout out. Really booking a lot of classes for the fall once everybody has the vaccine and stuff. So you're going to be able to catch me locally. If you're interested in having a program, hit me up. You can find me here on YouTube. To send me a message or check out my website, ignitionpointtraining.com. All right. Thanks, everybody. Hit subscribe for me. This is Phil Jose, and I'm out.